You being depressed or sad is a choice and not a disease. And in this video, I want to explain that to you before you go running off to the comments like every stupid idiot does. Let me show you this. These are all the different fucking medications I was prescribed when I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. Now, whether you believe that or not, I don't truly give a fuck because my goal is to try and inspire you and share with you my story and why sadness and depression and anxiety, all this stuff is a choice and not a disease. It is actually truly a choice. It is why I was able to go from being on all those different medications to within a few short months being looked at as the guy where people ask me, Stefan, how are you so happy? How are you so energetic? How much coffee do you drink? I don't drink coffee. I don't even take caffeine. I don't take pre-workout. Why? Because I'm high on fucking life. And I found, like, once I realized that being sad, that being depressed, that being anxious, that feeling negative was a choice and not a disease, okay, that it was a choice and not this pre-installed thing that I had to be, my life changed forever. And I want my story to be a testament and inspiration for you to do the same, and I'm going to share with you exactly how I did that, okay? So, there's something we have to understand. That you can feel depressed. I will admit right now, you can feel depressed. Like, feeling depressed, that's normal. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. We have emotions. We as human beings have emotions. We can feel sad. We can feel happy. We can feel angry. We can feel overwhelmed. Like, these are feelings we can have. But you cannot be depressed. You are you, right? I am Stefan. I don't go to people saying, hey, I am happy. My name is happy. Like, no. You are yourself. You are you. You are not your feelings. That's the first thing you have to identify, that your feelings do not make you who you are, okay? Awesome. Now that we've understood our feelings don't make us who we are, we got to understand something. We're going to go through a lot of different things today, so bear with me. Like, take your notepad out. I'm going to try my best to make sure I can change your life. That is my goal, is by the end of this video, you can change your life, okay? Here's the thing. It's totally off topic, but let's say you are sad right now. Let's say you are depressed, okay? Do you still have to wake up tomorrow and go to work? Do you still have to wake up tomorrow and go to school and do the project and go to the gym, etc.? Do you still have to do those things? Yes. Okay, so let me ask you this. If you're happy and or sad, do you still have to do the same things? Yes. Okay, so wouldn't you rather be happy? Probably. Awesome. That's what we're going to do. Is we're going to make sure that you are happy, because here's the deal. You have to do the same things anyway, so why not enjoy them? The world keeps spinning, time keeps ticking, so why not enjoy our time here while it lasts? Let's talk about it. Depression. Okay, so first we have to understand depression in and of itself is a mental illness. Mental. Now, we have to ask our mind. How does our mind come up with things, right? Like, how does our mind form our thoughts, our beliefs, everything? How does this happen? Well, your mind thinks based off of the people you talk to, the things you read, the shows you watch, the music you listen to, the people you hang out with, etc. Right? All of those things make you who you are. Like, you are a byproduct, a summation of all of the people you spend a lot of time with, etc. Right? Like, as a matter of fact, you probably have very similar beliefs to your parents. A lot of you do, right? To a lot of different extents. Why? Right? Like, when you go to the grocery store, why do you buy Tide instead of Downy? Well, you buy Tide because your parents always bought Tide and they told you Tide was the best. And so you just, without second thought, believe that Tide was the best. And rightfully so, because that's how we were raised, right? Why do you eat this bread instead of that bread? Well, someone once told you this and then you believe that and therefore you did those things, right? You're just like, you are a byproduct of all the people and time you spent with and beliefs you have, etc. And so that means that the stuff that we put into our body, like physically, metaphorically, have a huge impact on the way we think and the way we see life, right? Like, your life isn't real. Let me make that very clear. Your life is just a perception on how you view things, right? Like, we could live the same two identical lives and we could both view it two totally different ways based through our filter and our perspective of life in and of itself, right? Your life is just your perspective on what happens, okay? Which means the cool thing really about that, the coolest thing is we are able to change that if we can change the filter and the perspective at which we look through life. And so I want to read you something from this really good book called The Four Agreements, phenomenal book, about this idea of why your word is so powerful, and why I'm going to talk about the reason why people are sad is because of this idea that they tell themselves they're sad. You see, we as humans fundamentally seek validation. Right? We do. We seek validation from other people, from our mom, from our dad, from social media, right? We post and hope we get likes. We post videos like this in hopes we get views, right? We do things for validation. We tell somebody we're sad because we hope that they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. We tell them that we're hungry or whatever because we hope that they can validate our idea and help us out in some way, shape, or form. We are constantly seeking validation and attention. That's how this world works. And so that's why we have this thing called confirmation bias, which is where when you believe something, you go out there and look for things that agree and confirm that your belief is correct. which is why it's funny if you, like, when you search for something, even if it shows you the opposite of what you're looking for, you will keep searching until you find the statement that agrees with you, and then you will further redefine that you believe that belief. It's really weird, okay? But so there's this idea that we believe that we have confirmation bias to the things we want to believe. And so here's the thing. Here's what happens. You get sad, right? For me, when I got depressed initially, it was because I had broken up with my girlfriend and everything was heading downhill, right? I didn't have a lot of money in my bank account. I was going to university. I was getting a degree that I absolutely hated. I despised. I was hanging out with people I didn't even like. And so I was getting sad. And so I was sad about my life, right? Things just weren't looking good. Like my life just, in my eyes, objectively, it was fine. Like if I think of the people that are getting bombed every single day, my life was good. But in my eyes, subjectively, it was bad. It was worse than what it was, right? And so I was like, man, my life sucks. And my friend's like, oh, you should go talk to a therapist. Okay, well, I take my friends' opinions kind of seriously. At least I used to, not anymore. And so I was like, okay, let me go talk to a therapist. I talked to the therapist, and she started asking me all these questions. At the end of the session, she was like, yeah, Stefan, you are really sad. You should go get checked for depression. So I go to my doctor. My doctor gives me all these tests. I get the test back. They're like, wow, you are severely depressed. And they're just reaffirming in my head that I am depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed. So guess what I started to tell myself? I'm sure you could guess. I started to tell myself I was depressed. I started to tell my friends, my mom, my dad, the people at my school that I was depressed. I started to tell them that because that's what I was told. And I wanted them to feel bad for me because I was depressed. I wanted them to cut me some slack, right? I wanted my teachers to give me a better grade or my friends to give me more attention because I was depressed, right? Because we as humans, we seek validation. It's just how the world works. And so I started to do those things. Good or not, doesn't matter. I did them. And so then I started to see counselors and therapists and my doctor regularly, daily. I would be on the phone with not suicide prevention, but these online phone therapists. And I'd be calling them, right? Because I was genuinely really sad. And the more I talked to them, the more sad I got because we just keep talking about how sad I was. And every single time the session ended, I didn't feel better. I just felt more sad because all we talked about was how depressed I was and how shit my life was. I live in a first world country, had the ability to go to university, had the ability to work a job, to go to the gym. My heart still pumped blood, my lungs still breathed, my arms, my hands worked. Objectively, I don't know what the fuck I was sad about. In my mind, I perceive my life to be sad. Once again, your reality is only what you make of it. And so I believed that I was sad. So I started to tell myself I was sad, and then I ended up really believing it, right? And as I would talk to my friends, they would say how sad they were. And all we talked about was how sad we were. To the point where I really, really, truly believed that I was really depressed. There was even points in my life, I can remember so vividly, I was laying right here. My bed used to be right here against this wall. And I remember once I woke up before one of my classes and I laid in bed and I was like, I wish I didn't wake up. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do anything today. I just want to lay here and be sad. That was one of the lowest points of my absolute life. I had nothing going for me. No drive, no ambition, no goals, no nothing. Nothing. Yeah. That was a low point. I felt really alone too. I'd just broken up with the girl that I had spent the last 1.5 years of my life with. Every single day during COVID, we hung out every single day, and I lost the person that was closest to me. And I just I felt empty. And the more I talked to these people, the more empty I felt. Anyways, as I talked to these people more often, I started to get more sad. That was until I started to watch some stuff online about depression, etc. And some of you may know Andrew Tate popped up, and he was talking about how you're this, you're that, you're a pussy, blah, blah, blah. And at first I was pissed. It's like, well, this guy doesn't fucking know what depression's like, right? That's what everyone says. You don't know what it's like because you think for whatever reason you're different than everyone else in this world. I'll tell you from someone who used to think that, you are not different. Sorry, you are not special, my friend. But, so yeah, I watched some of his content, and as I watched more and more and more of it, I realized that I was only making myself depressed. Because I was validating that idea that I was depressed by talking to all these people. Another weird concept that popped in my mind is one of my roommates had been depressed for 8 years. He'd been on antidepressants for 8 years. If antidepressants were supposed to work, wouldn't you think that after 8 years he'd be happier? As a matter of fact, his dosage only kept going up and up and up and up and up, and he said it was only getting worse. And at the time that didn't really resonate with me, but now I realize oh wow. I'm in business now. I understand that you want to keep your customers. I understand as a pharmaceutical company, you don't make money by giving people the treatment. You give money by making them continue to buy your drugs. So as a byproduct, you don't really want your product to work that well because then people won't keep buying from you and you won't make a lot of money. Pharmaceutical is one of the most I haven't looked at this, but I'm sure if you looked at the statistics of pharmaceutical companies over the last 100 years, I'm sure they've grown exponentially. I'm sure in COVID, they were probably one of the, as a matter of fact, I'm almost positive that in COVID, the best investment you could have made was probably crypto, besides crypto, pharmaceutical companies. Okay? Anyways, so this idea that what you tell yourself is really important. For context, after I saw a bunch of Andrew Tate stuff, I started to ask myself why I was depressed. And other than the fact that I broke up with my girlfriend this day, I couldn't actually figure out why my life was so bad given what was actually going on. And so I kid you not, I started to wake up and instead of telling myself I was sad, I started to be grateful because anxiety, like the feeling of anxiety, like the chemical, the molecule in your brain, and gratefulness cannot coexist at the same time. It is not physically possible due to the chemicals in your brain. And so if you're just grateful, you can't be anxious. I was like, okay, well, that's one of my problems. Let me start waking up and instantly going to gratitude, instantly just being grateful for everything in my life. And the cool thing is, a lot of you have asked you, what are you grateful for now? You're like, oh yeah, my friends, my family, whatever. But like, it's weird how much stuff we truly take for granted. Like, I would wake up and I'd go, man, I'm grateful for my curtains blocking the sun out so I can sleep a little longer. I'm grateful for the fact that I have 2 pillows here so I can lay in whatever one I want during the night. I'm grateful for the fact that I have 3 blankets here. I have my monitor there, a chair I could sit in, a desk that holds it all together, electricity outlets to plug into, electricity that actually keeps me warm in this building. I'm grateful for the fact that I have blinds I can open and close whenever I want to have, sun in my eyes. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a window that opens or closes so I can change the temperature. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a fridge that runs with food in the fridge, with food that I can eat, with a stomach that can take it, with breath in my lungs, with blood in my heart, with hands that I can do stuff with feet and legs I can move around with. I'm thankful for my eyes so I can see, my nose so I can breathe, my ears so I can hear. And as I go around, I look at my room, I'm like, man, I'm thankful for these walls being here. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have a room. I'm thankful for this hanger that I have to put my jackets on. I'm thankful for this whiteboard to write my ideas on. I'm thankful for this door to close so I can have a private room. I'm thankful for this cycling jersey so I can go cycling, right? I'm thankful for this highlighter so I can highlight things in my book. I'm thankful for these sticky notes I can write notes on, right? I'm thankful for this book I'm about to read to you in a second here, right? And it's like, once you look around, you're like, wow, there's so much stuff to be grateful for. Like, holy moly, I take my life for granted. And then I'd wake up and I'd go into the mirror and I'd tell myself, Stefan, you're happy, you're happy, you're happy, you're happy, you're the man, you're the man, you're the man, you're the man, you're the man. I would then go on and I'd put on happy music. As a matter of fact, I remember it so vividly. I had a playlist. The 2 main songs I listened to was It's a Beautiful Day by Michael Bublé and Shake Up Christmas by Train. Like, I just had those songs on repeat, back and forth, and I would play them as I was making breakfast, dancing around in my kitchen like a fucking lunatic. I'm sure if someone looked in, they're like, who is this guy? But I was just trying to convince myself I was happy. And it didn't happen overnight, but after a few weeks and after a few months, I really started to believe I was one of the happiest people. As a matter of fact, I remember going to my friends and saying, I believe in the happiest person you know. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, I genuinely, truly believe I am the happiest person you know in this world. And the thing is, my friends started to agree. They go, yeah, you know what? You probably are. To the point where later on in my life, I had people come and ask me, Stefan, how are you so happy? How are you so energetic? How are you so passionate, so ambitious, so just alive all the time? And it's from what I'm about to read to you here. I'm about to read you this. So if you're still here, I thank you, and I hope this is inspiring you, and I hope that I can help you, and I hope that this will really hit the nail on the head. Okay? If at any point you have any questions, I have a Discord, you can message me. Let's talk. Okay? Because I don't want you to struggle with depression. It sucks. Trust me, I know. And so I want to make sure that you have that choice. Because once again, it's not an illness, it's a choice. So, let's talk about word, right? Like, what you say to yourself. Because literally, you make yourself depressed. That's how it works. There's no chemical amounts. You make yourself depressed by telling yourself depressed. Right? That's how it works. And so, it talks about how in this book, it sounds very simple, but it's very, very powerful. Your word means everything. Okay? Why your word? Your word is the power that you have to create. Your word is the gift that comes directly from God. The Gospel of John in the Bible, speaking of the creation of the universe, says, in the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. Now, whether you're religious or not, bear with me here. Okay? Through the word, you express your creative power. It is through the word that you manifest everything. Regardless of what language you speak, your intent manifests through the word. What you dream, what you feel, and what you really are will all be manifested through the word. The word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The word is a force. It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think, and thereby to create the events in your life. You can speak. What other animal on the planet can speak? The word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is the tool of magic. But like a sword with 2 edges, your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. One edge is the misuse of the word, which creates a living hell. The other edge is the impeccability of the word, which will only create beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Depending upon how it is used, the word can set you free, or it can enslave you even more than you know. by convincing yourself you are depressed. All the magic you possess is based on your word. Your word is pure magic, and the misuse of your word is like black magic. The word is so powerful that one word can change a life or destroy the lives of millions of people. Some years ago, the one man in Germany, by the use of the word, manipulated a whole country of the most intelligent people. He led them into a world war with just the power of his word. He convinced others to commit the most atrocious acts of violence. He activated people's fears with the word, and like a big explosion, there was a killing and war all around. All over the world, humans destroyed other humans because they were afraid of each other. Hitler's word, based on fear-generated beliefs, the agreements will be remembered for centuries. That is the power of your word, and we're just getting started. The human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continually being planted. The seeds are opinions, ideas, and concepts. You plant a seed, a thought, and it grows. The word is like a seed, and the human mind is so fertile. The only problem is that too often it is fertile for the seeds of fear, and specifically of negativity, because those are the emotions we seek out more often, which is why I ask you right now, if you can list out 10 bad things, it would be easier than listing out 10 good things, because our mind is driven to look for things that are bad. Every human mind is fertile, but only for those kinds of seeds it is prepared for. What is most important is to see which kind of seeds our mind is fertile for, and to prepare to receive the seeds of love, not hate, and not negativity. Take the example of Hitler. He sent out all those seeds of fear, and they grew very strong and beautiful, achieved massive destruction. Seeing the awesome power of the word, we must understand what power comes out of our mouths. One fear or doubt planted in our mind can create endless drama of events. One word is like a spell, and humans use the word like black magicians, thoughtlessly putting spells on each other. Every human is a magician. We either put a spell on someone with our word, or we can release someone from a spell. I can read you the rest of this book. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. But it's crazy how this works, because even later on in the book he says, like not being good at swimming or sports or writing, someone gives an opinion and says, look, this girl is ugly. The girl listens, believes she is ugly, and grows up with the idea that she is ugly. It doesn't matter how beautiful she is, as long as she has the agreement, she will believe that she is ugly. That is the spell she is under. By hooking our attention, the word can enter our mind and change a whole belief for better or for worse. Another example, you may believe you are stupid. You may have believed this for as long as you can remember. Take this with depression. This agreement can be very tricky, causing you to do a lot of things to ensure that you are stupid, looking for validation that you are stupid. You may do something and think to yourself, I wish I were smart, but I must be stupid or I wouldn't have done that. You seek validation for this thought. The mind goes in hundreds of different directions, and we could spend days getting hooked by just that one belief in our own stupidity. Then one day, someone hooks your attention using the word, lets you know that you are not stupid, you believe what the person says, and make a new agreement. As a result, you no longer feel or act stupid. A whole spell is broken just by the power of the word. Conversely, if you believe you are stupid and someone hooks your attention and says, yes, you really are the most stupid person I've ever met, the agreement will be reinforced and become even stronger. That is how powerful your word is. That is how powerful what you say to yourself is. That is the power of your own thoughts, your own words. You manifest your own reality by the things you constantly tell yourself on a day-to-day basis. And the problem is, it's so much easier to fix it before it ever gets started, right? Because once you're so far gone, you've believed this idea that you are sad, you are depressed for so long that you think, no, it must just be this way. But it doesn't have to be this way. And that's what I'm telling you. Is your life doesn't have to be the way it is because it's your choice. Because it's the thoughts you keep telling yourself. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you told yourself you were happy? When was the last time you truly convinced and believed you were happy? When was the last time you were grateful for everything around you? Probably a really long time ago. And you wonder why you're sad. It's a choice that you are consciously making to make yourself sad. You are making that choice. And here's the thing. I understand sad things happen in life, right? Like family members passing away, etc. I've had that happen as well, right? And of course, we get sad in those moments. But it's one thing to be sad for a day, a couple days, etc. It's another thing to be sad for a lifetime and take that sadness and turn it into your identity. To start walking around telling people, I am depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed. No, you are you. You are your name. I am Stefan, I'm not depressed. I am Stefan. I currently feel depressed because someone passed away, but I'm not going to let that affect my life because I want to live a good life. And that's the way you should look at it, right? You can feel depressed, but don't be depressed. That's a choice you make, and don't make that choice. As a matter of fact, even feeling depressed in and of itself is a choice, right? Let's say a family member passes away. That's sad. It's terrible. But the only reason why we're sad is because we expected them to live longer, right? Then again, just family member passing away in and of itself is sad. But imagine you had a cat. And let's say the cat died at 10. you'd be really sad. One, because you missed the cat. But imagine if we interpreted this differently. Imagine if cats only lived till 2 and your cat lived to 10. Now the perspective is, wow, my cat lived 5 times longer than it should have. I'm so grateful for all the years I got to spend with my cat, for all the amazing memories I got to spend with my cat. I'm so grateful that that got to happen. I'm sad that that cat is gone, but I'm happy it happened. And so despite the fact that it is sad that that cat will no longer be with me, time keeps ticking, the world keeps spinning, and I still need to live my life. And I will do so in memory of my cat, and I will think of that cat, but I also will be happy in doing so, because that is what the cat would have wanted from me. So yes, I'm sad it's gone, but I'll be happy hereafter, because it is a choice, and I make that choice to be happy. That's what I mean, is it's just a choice. And the thing is, you can always choose sadness, and it's the easier option. It's always easier to choose something negative than it is positive. But I argue if you choose the one that's a little bit harder on the front end, it'll be way easier on the back end. Way, way, way easier. And so I encourage you, I really do encourage you to seek this choice. To seek this choice of happiness, of peace, right? And if you're a man and you're sad, do this. Go to the gym. Go work on something. Like, here's the thing is, energy cannot be killed. You cannot just eliminate energy. It can only be transferred. And so when you're sad or angry, you can use that sadness or anger to project more sadness into your life, or you can use that to propel yourself to the next level. So if you're a man, I encourage you, if you're sad, start going to the gym. Start being grateful. Start telling your family members you love them. Start waking up and thanking God for everything you do have instead of what you don't have. Start looking for the good things in your life, not the bad things, because your mind will find the things you're looking for. It's the red car theory. Last time you drove, how many red cars did you see? For certain. You can't say. I'm sure there are some that you can't say. That's because our mind only sees what we're looking for. Which is why if you've ever learned a new word, you realize that after you've learned a new word, instantly you start hearing that word a lot more often. Why? Because you start looking for it now. It's how the world works, is we have a bias to look for the things that we think of, right? And so if you're thinking of sadness all the time, you will find ways to be sad. You will. Your mind will literally trick you into find ways to be sad. If you're always thinking of how to be happy, happiness, etc., your mind will trick you into finding ways to be happy. It's crazy how that works. And so I encourage you that if you are sad, start going to the gym. Make something of yourself, right? Build something purposeful. Build something meaningful. Build yourself up. Provide for those around you. Protect those around you. Tell your family members you love them. Tell your friends you love them. Start being grateful for the things that you do have in your life. Start looking and thanking for all the things that you do currently have. And you'll notice how fast your life can change if you truly make this commitment to yourself. If you make this agreement to yourself. And you watch and you monitor the things that you put in your life. You monitor the people you hang out with. You monitor the things you feed yourself, physically and metaphorically. Right? You monitor the things you listen to, the people you watch, etc. Most of you, if I look at your playlist, if I look at your playlist, I can tell you why you're depressed. It's because all you're listening to is sad songs that make you think more depressing thoughts. If you look at your YouTube channel, all it is just sad videos. If you look at your text messages, all it is you complaining, and you wonder why you're sad. Right? Imagine if somebody only ever talked about ice cream. Only ever. To all his friends, to everyone. Do you think after a amount of time he would be good at ice cream and only know things about ice cream? Probably. Same with sadness. If all you ever do is complain and nag, make excuses, and talk about how sad you are, like, eventually you'll just start to believe your own bullshit to the point where you really believe it, and then it becomes true to you, or then it becomes true to you, not objectively, but to you, it becomes true, and then it's a downhill spiral. But once again, it's a choice. And so what choice do you want to make? That's the question you have to ask yourself. It's being happy or being sad. They're both a choice. You just get to pick the one that you want to be. So yeah, that is my story with depression, how I overcame it, how I battled it, and hopefully some good insights that can help you not become depressed anymore. Okay? And if you're a young man who wants to escape the matrix, and you like me, and you want to learn from me, and you want to be part of my cult, there's a link down below. Go check it out. Okay, you can be part of other people who are on a mission to become the best version of themselves, live up to the God-given potential, provide and protect for those around them. That's my goal. My goal is to inspire you to do the same. If you have any questions, you can ask me in my Discord. Other than that, have an amazing day. And a reminder, remember that everything in life is a choice. So change your language about life as well. Instead of saying, oh, I have to go to work, I get to go to work. Because if you say you have to, you will imply it's something you have to do, meaning you don't like to do it. So change your language and you'll change your life. Change your word and you'll change your thoughts. Change your thoughts, you'll change your reality. Change your reality, you'll change your life. So instead of saying I have to go to the gym, say I get to go to the gym. Instead of saying I have to wake up at 8, say I get to wake up at 8. Change your language and watch how your life will transform.